All right, hopefully you can see me or hear me, and I want to show you this throttle body real quick. I got everything back together, got everything cleaned up. I cleaned the inside of the shaft, used some 4/0 steel wool, used some emery cloth, got that all cleaned off. So this is what we should be looking like. Make sure you can see all that. Primaries, and secondaries. Everything is functioning. So I'm going to move forward with getting the rest of this cleaned up. And let me move the camera down here a little bit. Very simple, undesirable process. I'm basically going to take some steel wool. I'm going to take a steel brush. I've got a brass brush. I've got a all kinds of brushes, but anyway, and a lot of carb cleaner and brake cleaner. I'm going to get the air horn and the main body cleaned up, and then we'll come back and start looking at putting this together. Okay, y'all get the gist. That took all the heavy stuff off. I'll get back in here, do some fine tuning. Looks like I got a little bit right here I didn't hit. I'll get in here and do some fine tuning. We have to take a couple parts off. But I'll get this all thoroughly cleaned up, get all the ports and everything, all the passages blown out. And then I'll meet you back at the table and we'll start putting this back together. Thanks. Where does one start? So, throttle body, air horn, main body, got these cleaned up. Want to show you this. I don't remember if I came back and showed you this, but primary, secondaries, these open. This is everything that was froze up. That opens. That's doing exactly what it should be doing right there. Okay, so we're good there. So there's I'm gonna go ahead and move some of this out of the way right now. You know what? You can do this. This is the first time I've done a 4300. To be honest with you, I put it all back together and did all my troubleshooting. I do have the shop manual. I'll put a plug in for that again. The shop manual, Rock Auto, you know, for this year 68 is just absolutely worth the $30, $35, $40. I use it over and over and over again, and it has this Autolite 4300. Now, there are different models of the 4300. This is the earlier model that we're dealing with. Like it was like A or D or something like that. So, anyway, let's get to putting this together. So, you know, not everything comes in the new kit. I can show you the kit. Let me grab it real quick. This is the kit that we got, and it looks like it's a 15410D. So, hey, made in the USA. You absolutely don't see that very often. So, anyway, so we got the throttle body here. We're gonna get the main body put on it. That in and of itself is pretty simple. We've got our gasket. It's easier. You can see that there's two dowel positions that go here and here. I'm gonna go ahead and move this up a little bit. There we go. So there were two gaskets in here. This is the one that we need. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it on here, right like that. Now, two things. The throttle, the main throttle is going to be forward. It's spring loaded, no problem. This you don't want here. You want to flip it to the back, and then there's over here dealing with the choke. You want that down, not up. okay? Or you'll have to take it apart and put it back together again. So we're gonna go ahead and get this seated down in here. I'm gonna pick this up to make sure I get it lined up right. Get that gasket, get that gasket in there right. Well, I said I had it, but I don't. Okay, got the gasket on there. Get that pressed down on there. Then we're gonna set this one, this. Gotta love it. Okay, gasket's back on. I'm trying to make sure that this actually fits down in here while I'm doing this. And I'm mucking it up. So, there we go. That sets in there. What is holding? There's nothing should be holding me up here. Just gotta get it aligned, I think is the... No, that's what it was. It was that. So, there we go. Had it. There we go there. Okay, so we're fully seated on here, the new gasket's in, then you flip it over. We've got 6 bolts we're gonna put in the bottom. And I think when I tore this apart, and really, I see this on a lot of carburetors, even that Mopar BBD, that 2-barrel I did, the throttle plate was they weren't rattling loose, but they were definitely loose. And obviously you don't want to be getting a vacuum leak in here. So we're gonna get these started. Then we'll come back and feed it the onions, if you will. Now you don't want to put them so tight that you're breaking them. And these certainly aren't made out of steel, so you got to be careful. Anyway, you know, just get them tight. Doesn't have to be super tight. There we go. There we go. There we go. Now, there you go. So we got that gasket, we got the gasket in between here, and this thing is now attached, okay? And we've got this choke position over here where it needs to be, right here, right there. When I open these secondaries, I've got it caught up on there. What is, oh, look what I did. See this right here? Right here, this arm should be above, and it's below it. So I've got to take this back apart and redo it. And that's the fun of doing it. Just absolutely do not have a choice. And I could edit this out, but that wouldn't be very fair now, would it? I want you to see the actual pain and struggle of learning. You know, that's why I sat here late last night and put this thing together, and then came back out this morning and took it all apart, because I wanted to make sure that I was doing this correctly when I did this video. So other side. Okay, very good. I'm gonna stand up here for a minute. Okay, so this has got to be on top. This has to be on top of that. Okay. And that's got to be down underneath. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, so let me check everything. Oh, see what I did? What am I doing? This has to be flipped forward. This has got to be like that. There you go. There you go. All right, primaries, secondaries. We're good now. So let's go ahead and flip this over. Came apart again. I am just struggling here. There we go. Okay. Let me go ahead and get a screw in here. I'm going to go ahead and just snug down 2 screws and check it again. See, I've got something. What is going on there? I'm not seated. Doggone it. Struggling on a Saturday morning. That's what it's all about. There we go. Now that looks down. Yep, that is down. Hoping y'all are still seeing this. Okay. Okay. Get that out of the way. Now let's double check everything where it's supposed to be. Okay. This is out of the way. What is going on here? You know, I'm not winning right now. I've got that boogered up in there. I'm not winning right now, but I'm not going to reshoot this. It's unfortunate, but I want you to see. You know, these are real life little struggles that we go through. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay, got that. There we go. We're seated. Okay, now let's check everything out here. Okay, very good. See how this is on top, this will go underneath the secondaries. There we go. Everything's good there. All right, get the rest of these screws in. We are rocking now. Come on. All right, tighten down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there we go. Now once again, you can see the primaries and then the. Now I'm lying. What is going? There we go. There it went. I didn't push it far enough. There we go. There we go. Right there. Okay. All right. So that's all working. Let's keep rocking. All right. So now we want to get the jets in. The jets, and I have the book off to the side here. I don't have the name of every one of these parts memorized, nor do I intend to memorize them. But we have the jets and the power valve. Okay. And that's what we're going to be putting in next right here. Now, yeah, let me just stop there. And let's get these jets in. Now these jets, if anybody's wondering, I had looked at them. Looks like they're 48s. Whoop, and I just dropped it. Okay, so we're going to get those started by hand. We don't want to be cross-threading anything. Okay, so we got that one. We got that one. We are cooking with Crisco now. We're moving along. If I can get this thing started. If I can get this thing started. It's sitting there, just not wanting to start. There we go. I think we got it that time. Yep, we got it. Okay. Then I'm going to take my big flat blade screwdriver. You know, these things don't have to be, you don't have to crank down on them. Just, you know, get them in there, snug them up. They're not going anywhere. Okay. And then we've got the, let's see, those were the main jets, and now we're going to put in this power valve. Now, you'll see on this power valve, I want to show you something here. It's different on the later model. There's a couple things that are different, but I want to get that started. you'll see when this comes together, definitely don't want to lose that. When this comes together, you'll see that this is the power valve, and then there's power valve. These work in unison right here when those go together. Those are a little different on the later model. Just wanted to share that. So I need to put this. Well, we'll come back to that, won't we? Okay, now to tighten this down, 3/8 socket, which I have right here. Didn't have my ratchet out. Once again, you know, the goal isn't to crank this down like a wheel lug nut. Just get it in there, snug it up. Okay, it's not going anywhere. And so that's functioning. Okay, so we got that. Now there's one piece that I had to go back and review to understand it a little better, and it's this little piece right here. This is an accelerator pump discharge valve, and there's a spot right here. Let me get this right here, and let me make sure that's absolutely correct, and it is correct. This sets right in there. Now the later model, they'll have another piece that's in here that did not come out of this carburetor, and even the piece that's in the rebuild kit won't fit in there anywhere. And there also is not a second check ball in here. The only check ball is down here with the accelerator pump. So let's slide in this accelerator pump. I did replace the this is the part that comes, and although in the first video I said that it looked in pretty good shape, when I took it off it kind of tore apart, it was brittle. This one fits down in there a lot better. But let's talk about our check ball. This is let's see what the accelerator pump inlet ball. Okay, you can see hopefully down in here that there's a ball. What we're going to do, we're going to drop this ball down in there. It's in there, and this is the retaining spring that goes in there. And basically it's just a compression, and you fit it down in there, kind of like I guess you'd call it a C-clamp that pops out, and there's a lip down there, so that's not going anywhere. And then our power valve actually just sets in there like that. Okay, I did spray a little WD-40 on there. That just kind of helps it when we're putting it together for the final assembly. Now the other thing, this crazy looking little piston here, let's see what they call it. That's an air valve dampener, and when we took it apart, that thing was stuck, and it comes through the top of the housing over here, and that's for your choke, and it was absolutely stuck. So I got it out, I cleaned it up, I cleaned up this hole here the best I could. I actually got some steel wool in there and swirled it around with a screwdriver, and of course cleaned it out real good. Anyway, so that's good, that fits in there. But that part we're going to assemble with the air horn, so I'm going to leave it out for separate for right now. So now the other problem that we have, this fast idle cam right here is broken. You can see where that's broken off right there, and I cannot find one of those to save my life. I think the only way you could actually find one, I've checked out Mike's Carburetors, all kinds of places online, probably is buy a junk one and find that. But for what we're doing for these purposes, I think we'll be okay. This choke is not electric. It's done by heat off the exhaust manifold. All that system is broke anyway, so this is probably going to turn into a manual choke situation, but nonetheless we're going to continue to rock. I'm going to swap places because let me get this choke stuff out of the way here. Okay, so we're going there. Okay, so we're going to keep rocking. Quick drink of water. Okay, air valve dampener. That's what this is right here. Now, this air valve dampener, there's a lot of things going on here. It opens this right here, and I've got that set, that's spring loaded. I did not cover putting this back on, but this cap goes in there. You tighten it to give it tension on these dampeners, like so, and then there's a plate that just, it's very simple. There's a plate that just compresses on there and holds it down. So, but anyway, on the newer models that I've been seeing, is there's a spring assembly down in there to help that. And on this model, that spring assembly is just not there. So anyway, we're going to put this dampener in up through here, and there's a little cover plate right there that we put over it, and it sets down on top. Man, I make this look so easy, I know. Anyway, it sets down on top right there, and then this dampener actually comes from the inside, and you know what? I probably need to go back and look at the video on that, because it actually doesn't. If the dampener is in the hole here, yeah, it is going to be from the inside, the way that lines up properly, okay? Because if I have it this way, that doesn't line up, or does it? No, it's definitely on the inside. Definitely on the inside. So let's get that on. There we go. Okay, so you can see as that dampener moves up and down, this dampener moves up and down as well within the carburetor. So, okay. So now, let's start talking the float assembly. There's another couple parts in here, and you've got your fuel inlet valve, and you've got an auxiliary valve assembly. So this is your inlet. We've seen these before. Nothing super exciting there. This one here, though, which is the auxiliary valve assembly. This looks like a Schrader valve, but it's not. And you would think that you could compress that down and get a screwdriver in these slots and tighten that down, but you can't. And I don't want to booger this up. So my solution is I'm going to start that in, and as gently as possible. I'm sure there's a special tool for this. I just don't have it. I'm gonna tighten this down snug. It's not gonna go anywhere. I know that. I'm gonna get that in as snug as possible, and I'm gonna leave it right there. That's all I'm doing with that. Now, the fuel inlet, and these have both of these have seals on them as well. And I'm making sure that I did have the seal. And you know what? I don't see the seal on that. So now I get to double check that. The getting to do it once is fun. Getting to do it twice is even funner, right? Oh, and the seal is in there, so I'm good. I'm gonna tighten this back down. Look, this isn't sending the carb off and paying $200, which is probably valued more than the actual carburetor to get this thing rebuilt. This is us sitting in our garage. We got an old car. We're just trying to get this thing running, and it'll run fine. Okay. All right. Fuel inlet valve does have the seal on it. We'll get that started. I am fumbling all around. Now my ring is, look at that, got my ring caught on there. What a morning. It's a blessed morning. It's beautiful outside. The neighbor's dogs have been barking all morning. They're over there playing. Sounds like they've quieted down a little bit. They're probably taking a nap. Maybe that's what I need to do. Okay, this is 7/16. That helps. The old one had a cross tip on it. This one, it was a little challenge to get out. This one is a 7/16 and works really good. Okay. Okay, we're about there. Once again, we're not overpowering. Oop, see, I just buggered that up a little bit. I need to make, I'm good. We're good. We're good. Okay, very good. There we go. Of course, the guy watching me rebuild this for him who bought the rebuild kit, sorry about that little nick. So, but I think we'll be okay. All right, now we've got the float. Out, inlet, the seat right here has to go in here. Of course, as the float comes up and down, here's your main inlet for your fuel. As that comes up and down, it lets the bowls fill up. Now, I've checked the float level when I put it together, but we're going to go over that again. There's two things that I'm going to do here. Number one, we're going to get this float put in. This was super tight when I took it out. Of course, I had to drive it out a little bit and, you know, finagle it out, and then I got it straightened up. But we want to put, I'm going to put a little nick in that. I think this did not come in the rebuild kit. When you get a new one, it's serrated and it kind of compresses in there. So I'm going to put a little nick in the end of this, just so. Well, that didn't work very well. It just clipped it off. I didn't want to clip it off. Better be careful there. Okay, I got a little nick in the end. That will not work its way out. So everything's good there. Okay, now the float setting is 25-30 seconds. Most of us, when you build a carb like a 2100 or that BBD, the float was setting down in here and you measured from the edge to the top of the float. This one is not done that way, because this is the top, this is the air horn, and the float distance is here. So what you do is you turn it upside down. You take what came with your kit, and this is the one that's in 30 seconds, and it's 25-30 seconds. And if I put this on the edge, it is 25-30 seconds. It's right on the money. I checked it already. There was no need to adjust anything because everything was fine. All right, so we've got all of this together. Now what's left? Let's see what's left. I want to make sure I don't forget anything here. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the main body and the throttle body. You know what we're going to do real quick while you can see this better? We're going to put in, and this is for your idle mixture right here. That's what we're going to put these in. The official term: idle fuel mixture, adjusting spring, and adjusting screw. So we're going to get those started. And we'll get those started. This will probably be a long video. Hopefully you can forward to the part that you may need to look at or may not need to look at. So feel free to do that, please. I would like you to subscribe though. That blesses me abundantly. It's free to you. Now we're going to take these all the way down, and we're going to open them up 1.5 turns. That's going to be our starting point. So there's a half a turn, there's a full turn, and there is another half. So they're set at 1.5. And I need a little better screwdriver. We're done with that one. Let's get rid of it. A little better screwdriver that'll fit down in there. So we're going to run it all the way down, and don't tighten. Once again, I've said it many times already. Don't tighten the hog snot out of it. Just doggone tighten it down. It bottoms out. You've got a half a turn. You've got a full turn. You got 1.5. That's a good starting point right there. Okay. All right. Now we're going to. I'm going to check my battery level here to make sure we don't run out. Okay. We're going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I am going to continue on. We'll get this finished up. So obviously, you need a new gasket. All right. So that's not right. That's not right. I know this is the right gasket. Anyway, we'll get this set on here. You know, I bet if I flip it over, it would work a lot better. There we go, right there. Okay, everything's lining up. So this really is easier than that BBD carburetor. And I'm going to stop there because I need to take this out. To make this easy, we're going to set this over here. We're going to bring this over here. To make this easy, you put this in first, your accelerator pump. And remember, this is where we were leaking. I had pointed that out. I'm trying to do this so you can see it. You're just bringing that up in and hooking it on. Now we're functional. So there's your accelerator pump. Okay? All right, now back to this. We've got our gasket here. What we're going to do simultaneously is we're going to get the accelerator pump into this hole, and we're going to get the dampener into that hole. And that's the goal there, okay? And everything is hooked up here on our choke, so we're good there. So let's see what we can do. So we've got that. We've got the dampener simultaneously. And the choke is out of the way, and there we go. Now let's make sure everything's working. The dampener is working, and the fuel pump, correction, the power valve is working. Is that what they call that, power valve? That's your accelerator pump, not your power valve. Anyway, so all that's working. All right, so we're good there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this around like this so that I can orient myself properly. And we're going to start putting some screws in. Oh, yeah, I'm going to put 2 screws in just to keep this together so we don't lose what we have. Okay? I'm not going to tighten them down. Now I think so far, I know I made it look difficult at some points, but this is not overly challenging. This isn't like the valve body of a Holly or something like that. This is a fairly simple carburetor when you look at the overall rebuild. Now let's go back over here. We have got what they are calling, let's see what they're calling this. This part is, if I could bloody well find it in the diagram, it's an air vent. You know, it's right here. Okay, what this air vent does, there's a lever there as well. Okay, but you put this in here, you can see that there's a hole in here. This goes in here. Let me get this out of the way. And there's only one way it can go on. We'll tighten that down a little bit. Okay, so when the accelerator pump is in the up position, this air valve, you don't get a vacuum lock, is open there as well. Okay, all right. So now I'm going to turn this back around. The reason I'm turning this around is because I've got my screws oriented. This slotted screw, I don't know why, I don't know the rhyme or reason, but it definitely, the slotted screw was there, so that's where we're putting it back. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory, where all the screws go. And there is one that goes right down in here. Okay, so we'll start just tightening these down, then we'll come back. You know, we ought to make sure our throttle action is still working, and it is. Yep, there's my phone. Pause. All right, we're back. My apologies. I was actually waiting on a phone call from my buddy who this belongs to, and I'm going to go out in a couple hours. We're going to slap this on and get it running, so we'll have some additional video here at the end. So everything is working. Right there, your primaries and your secondaries. I just wasn't pushing it far enough, and I wasn't feeling it. So anyway, we're good there. So let's go ahead and get these screws. Let's go ahead and tighten everything down. I'm going to start in the middle. And I'm just going to work. Whoop, I lost the screw there. Where'd it go? All right, I tipped this over and a screw fell out. Oh, I got it. There it is. Whoop, there it is, right? Okay. So we're going to get this all back together here. Okay, let's get this flat bladed one down. All right, just gonna double check. We didn't take these screws out, but I'm just gonna make sure they're good. Double check all my screws. Didn't get that one, there we go. That one's good. That one's good. Got another one up here I didn't get either. Good. 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 Didn't get that one either. Good. Oh, don't tell me I got a problem there. All right. Looks like I have got this choke arm. It's supposed to go in this hole here, and I've got it boogered up in there. So I'm gonna have to loosen this up, lift it up, get that adjusted back down. So I'm gonna do that off camera, not to bore you to death. I'll be right back. All right, we're gonna get this wrapped up. Man, I almost forgot what I did. I went out, took a break, went out and ran a marathon, mowed 3 acres of grass, ate 3 Whoppers. I'm just kidding. Been a couple of minutes. Let's see, what did I do? All right, I've got everything. Everything is functioning the way it should be, as far as the throttle and the choke and all of that. I went ahead and connected, put the little clamp on the control rod for the throttle, and then the pump control rod, I went ahead and got it in and put a spring in, and put the pins in here and things of that nature. So that's all good. The last thing, we need to do 2 things. We need to put the choke together, and we need let's just do the fuel filter right now. Very simple. Very simple. And yes, someone just walked through, but that's okay. We're a family, and that's what we do. Once again, I put an O-ring on here because there was no seal that came with this, and there's no seal in the kit, so we're going to do an O-ring. Not too tight, but tight enough, right? I think that'll do it right there. We shouldn't have any problems there. And actually, that O-ring is not going to work, because it's spitting out the side and it's too big. So we'll, I'll back up and readjust that. I'll get a smaller O-ring on there. So you guys get the fuel filter thing, not a big deal there. All right, so as far as the choke, this is a, it's not an electric choke, so I guess you call it a manual choke. And you can see inside you've got your, oh, it's actually in here, I'm sorry. The it's kind of like a thermocoupler. As it heats up, it gets tighter, and then as it cools, not as it cools down, it heats up and it gets tighter, and that adjusts your choke. So all we're going to do, this has to, we have a seal. This tab right here has to go in this slot, and that's the important thing. So we'll get this set to 0, choke is closed when you start it. We'll get this on, and you can see that that adjusts it. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it full, just slightly. There we go, slightly, right there. All right. This goes on here, and you notice I went and bought new screws because I broke off one of the old screws. They've just been in there so long. So we'll get that started. And like I said earlier, you know, this like on a Mopar, you have a little rod here that as it heats up off the manifold, it pushes up and rotates this. This Ford one comes off the exhaust manifold, and it's all broken and everything. So they're probably going to wind up putting a manual choke that they adjust on here. But maybe we'll talk about that a little bit today, because as soon as I get this together, we're going to head out and go put this on. About a 30-minute drive, but we're going to head out and put this on and get her rocking. Okay. You don't have, once again, you know, don't feed it all the onions, don't give it all the beans, don't tighten the hog snot out of it. That's not the concept here. You just want to seal it up and keep it on. I think that's about almost tight enough. You can kind of feel when you hit that spot that that's enough. And that's enough. There we go. We're going to call that a done deal. We've got, let's just double check everything. We've got primaries and we got primaries and, come on, secondaries, work with me. Oh, I'm not pulling that. Oh, come on now. What in the world's going on? Do I have the choke? Oh, the choke. The choke is preventing them from opening. So we got to open up the choke there. Come on now. Until that heats up and moves out of the way, it's preventing them from, there we go. There we go. There we go. So there you go. Everything's opening up. We're good. Okay. We'll see y'all in a little bit, couple seconds for you, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, I'll be out there and we'll get this put on. Take care, bye. All right, here we go. We are back on the, what year, 68? 68, 390? 390, right? Yep. 390, and we've got our Autolite 4300. So what we're gonna do, you young guys, you wanna do this? You guys want to do this? Come on.
Oh, get in there.
Here. There's a gasket. Now that gasket will only fit one way, 90 degrees. So you want to put the gasket on, and you want the tab, you want it in the back like that.
Okay.
So it's not hard.
So just,
yeah, not hard at all. There you go. Drop it on. Are all the holes lining up? Yeah, real gentle like. Just kind of work these down a little bit at a time. There you go. Perfect. Now the carb. This is the front. Set it on exactly the same way, so everybody can watch. So while you're doing this, you're supposed to like be telling dad jokes and stuff like that.
okay.
Yeah, right. Now this is kind of the completion. We took a little video when we took it off. Done a lot of videos on rebuilding this 4300 Autolite, and now we're putting it on and we're going to crank it up. Is everything seated? Kind of wiggle it. Wiggle it. There you go. All right, now before we, just so everybody knows, I've got, you took pictures, right?
Yes.
Because I plugged this and I plugged this until we figure out what's got to hook up to that. Yep. I think one of them's probably the distributor, advanced. So, all right, here you go, guys. Let me put your hand out. There you go. There's 4 of those. What are those? I think they're 7/16.
Yeah, I believe so.
You got a wrench?
You got a wrench right over there. I got you.
7/16. Make sure they're 7/16. Now you're probably gonna need a wrench for some of those. You got a 7/16 wrench? If not, I brought one with me.
Well, you might need to get it.
Okay. All right.
Harbor Freight.
Harbor Freight. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Now what you want to do is don't tighten one down tight all the way. Kind of go around just like you do a tire. Hit a little bit, and then go. If you just tighten that one, go ahead and go to this back one and get it on. Anytime you've got more than 2 bolts, you kind of want to rotate around, kind of like on an intake or a tire or something like that, so you get a good. There you go. Oh, you guys got 2 of them going. That's good. Okay, now don't tighten those all the way. Now go ahead and hit the other corners. Can you get that? I don't think you can get that socket in there, can you? Nah, you gotta have to use that wrench. Tell you what, let me have that. Here, let me have that. Let me have that. There you go. Yeah, now you gotta figure out how to get in there, don't you? It's never easy. If it was easy, everybody'd be doing it, right? Tell you what, let's take, there you go. Nope, that ain't gonna work, is it?
You got to just flip it around.
Yeah, you may have to just do it a little at a time there. Yeah, it's not wanting to fit, is it? Let's see. Here, let me see something here real quick. See the muscles in these fingers? Look at that. I've had like 56 years to build those muscles. You're not buying it, are you? Nah, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. It's all about the angle. It's all about the tool. Okay, that's tight enough. These things, you know, these, as I talked about when I was putting this carb together, you don't need to feed it the beans on every one of them, right? Because all this is pretty soft metal. Okay, so what we need to verify is fuel. You said you don't have any fuel, right? It's all in the gas tank?
It's all in the gas tank.
All right, so I brought a water bottle. Where's that little water bottle I brought? Right here. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Can you hold that? You mind? Just keep it pointed right there. If it goes blank, it's okay. It's no problem. So I'll tell you what, if we got everything out of the way to crank this thing over. Looks like all the tools are out of the way. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna let you crank it a couple times. Is it yeah.
Hopefully it's got a charge to it. It's been sitting there for a minute.
Yeah, if not, we can stop and take care of that too. So, that's a big old battery right there.
Yeah, it's way too big for this
Yeah,
car.
yeah. Here, get a shot of that battery. What is that? What kind of battery is that? Mileage maker. You know it's a good one. It says mileage maker, right? So, all right. We'll stop there, and I'm gonna stop there. We're gonna get this battery squared away, then we'll be back. All right, it's on. All right, so point it right here. So we got the carb on. We got the kick down hooked up. We got the main throttle hooked up. It's working from the inside. You repaired the fuel tank.
Yep.
You replaced the fuel pump.
Yep.
And we had to get it jumped off because the battery was dead, but we definitely have fuel coming out here. So we're going to go ahead and hook this up here. Okay. All right. And would you mind holding that? Okay. And we'll probably put a little bit. Come on now.
This down.
It is. Trying to get it on. Here you go. Press that up on there. Come on.
Press it?
Right here. Yeah.
Press it?
Yeah, just get it on. I guess I didn't eat my Wheaties this morning. There you go.
It's going up. It's coming back off.
Is it coming off the bottom or the top?
No, it's coming off down here. You get it up there and start to slide back on.
Yeah, yeah. You want to come around this angle?
Yeah. Borrow these for a second. I want to cut it.
know what? It's probably because it's the fuel. You're absolutely right. It's the fuel line. Press up on the fuel line. I don't know if you can get in there. And it's kind of at an angle. It's kind of
not going in straight.
Yeah, exactly. So,
might move that coil out of the way for a second, might be.
Yeah, we could probably move that coil out of the way for just a minute. What is that? But I don't want to. I don't know how to do it. Well, I don't know how to do it. I can figure it out. You just got a bolt down here. Well, yeah, that's under it's under the fuel line. It's a 1/2 inch. Or is that actually, yeah, 1/2 inch. You got a 1/2 inch right here. I just can't get the right angle on it. That just stinks duty button right there, huh?
Oh man.
Oh, it's loose anyway, so. And I actually think you could there's a screw on the side.
I can unloosen it.
Yeah, we can unloosen it, but let's see if it's is that 9/16ths? Maybe I'm wrong. I had I'm just trying to figure out where I put my wrench. I laid them somewhere. I got the whole pack. They're. Oh, yeah, right there. Right next to that, we got them. I might just have the wrong size. I grabbed a 1/2 inch. Same size. And guess what? Same size. It did the same thing. I can't even. You can't even get to it.
Yeah, we just take it off there to flathead.
Yeah, there's a bolt on the other side, I'm sure. Yeah, we'll see if we can loosen that. Flathead. There's a little nut on the end of that screw, but if it's anything like my Galaxie, this booger nut. Did you replace this?
I did. I put that on there.
Did you put the bolt on there? How did you take it?
Actually, it just slid out. Both of them slid out. I think I tightened this nut if I remember right, but I can't.
That's not really it's not stopping it. It's the whole fuel. It's like it's too short. You know what we need?
You want longer too?
Here, let's do this. If you'll get what is that, 1/4 inch?
Yep.
I'll hold it here like that and see if you can get the screwdriver. Yeah. Tighten that bad boy down. I'd probably just get a longer piece of
yeah, that's why I was thinking.
fuel line and just put it right there.
I can get some pieces right now.
Yeah, well, we can see what we got. Just don't want her leaking. Need my bifocals? That ought to do it. And I put an O-ring in there because it didn't come. That didn't come with a gasket. There wasn't a gasket in the kit, and there wasn't a gasket on it in the first place.
Oh,
so let's just crank it and see what happens. So that little red light still. Okay. All right. Let's do it. Let's see what we got. Yep. Do it. All right, it's coming. Just keep going. I see the fuel coming. It's going to take a second to get it up there. All right, let's hope. Oh, you're running the gas pedal. Let's go ahead and do it. So we need the throttle to come this way just a hair to bring the idle down. The problem is this little piece in here is stripped out on the top and it's froze up in there, so we're going to address that later. But if we back that out, that's going to let this throttle come back just a hair, but we can't do that right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to crank it back up. We're going to look at the idle mixture screws, and you're going to watch to see if it warms up and cycles through the radiator, right? So, you want to hold that? Just keep it pointed right here. Go ahead and crank her up. Actually, it came down. So, you want to go and take the jumper cables off? I did think about, we probably need to get your vacuum advance for your distributor. I don't think it's hooked up, is it?
No, it's not.
And I think we'll go back and look at a picture, but that's part of the problem right there. So we'll go ahead and fill it again, and we'll look at that hooked up right. Okay? Alright, we're going to kill it real quick. We don't have the vacuum advance hooked up for the distributor. We'll be right back. Okay, folks, I have just left the 68 Galaxie. I just want to kind of wrap up this video. I think it went well. I think made a new friend. Made a new friend with another car guy. He's got a long way to go on that vehicle. Didn't catch it on film, but he had it up on jack stand, so we went ahead and checked the transmission. He's got reverse and he's got forward, so, and he's got a running engine, so he's got at least a good platform to start working on. So I think we're successful. So thank y'all very much. I would ask that you please subscribe, like, or share. Like I said before, it's free to you and it's a blessing to me, so thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking your time out to watch. I'm heading home. It's almost 6 o'clock, and I've got 2 weeks till power tour. Got to get back on my Chrysler and make sure we're ready for power tour. So we'll see you next time. Thank you. Be blessed.